Good afternoon. It's April 28th. This is your weather enthusiast, Simcha Lefton. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Speaking on a very interesting topic, the topic is, are meteorologists aware that the forecasts for West Rogers Park are not accurate? And the answer is a very simple no, and I'm going to explain why. Yesterday, my son pointed out to me that the high temperature in West Rogers Park indeed went into the upper 60s. This is on par with what the Meteo Blue model said, which is not what we were expecting. We were expecting highs to remain in the low 60s. Nonetheless, it was only for a very short period of time that temperatures were in the upper 60s. It was late in the day, temperatures went into the upper 60s. For most of the afternoon, temperatures were in the upper 50s and lower 60s. So the thing is that in most cities, the purpose of saying the high and the purpose of saying the low is to tell you what the weather forecast is, to tell you will it be warm, will it be cold. So for example, in St. Louis, if the high temperature is around 90 degrees, you know it's going to be hot that day. But in West Rogers Park, telling you the afternoon high doesn't tell you much, because if the high temperature is near 80 degrees, but there's what's called a pneumonia lake cold front coming by, the pneumonia cold front, which is a wind off the lake where temperatures drop into the 40s. So you have to be prepared for those dropping temperatures. So yesterday, the high temperature was in the upper 60s. But really, if the forecast that said lower 60s painted an accurate picture of what to expect, forecasts that would have said upper 60s were accurate, technically accurate on paper, but practically speaking, in the way it impacts us people and humankind, the way it impacts people, it would not have been an accurate picture. So it's a very interesting situation. And because of this situation, meteorologists are not aware, because the numbers match up to whatever was being forecasted. First of all, I think they were actually forecasting lower 60s. So the numbers in this case don't even match up. But even if they would have, but the high temperatures for a place like West Rogers Park does not tell you what it's actually going to be in the afternoon. It just tells you that for a short period of time, the temperature will be that temperature, will be in the upper 60s. So the fact that it may have been cool for most of the day, that does not get documented on paper. That's number one. And number two, it's regarding thunderstorms. People in West Rogers Park could tell you that time and time again, there'll be severe storms that as they approach the lake, as they approach West Rogers Park, they weaken to below severe limits. That's something that's very common. And yet meteorologists who are not from here do not have that documented anywhere. And if it's not documented anywhere, without documentation, it's as if it doesn't happen. And one of the reasons for that could very well be that Cook County, let's say, well, the thunderstorms are documented to have hit Cook County. So the fact that they weakened before reaching West Rogers Park, which is very common, that doesn't get documented. So when you ask about it, when I've seen these questions asked in the paper, they usually say that it's all in our head. It's not really true. But the fact of the matter is that the numbers on the papers for complicated situations like West Rogers Park do not tell you the complete story, and sometimes don't even tell you half a story. This time of the year is a very common time for the winds to have an easterly component to it. Therefore, this time of the year is the most important time to have a hyper-local forecast for your area in the Chicago area. If you're closer to the lake, especially a place like West Rogers Park, which sometimes is inland and sometimes by the lake, that's something that we're trying to do here on this podcast, is to give the hyper-local forecasts for West Rogers Park. So thank you for listening. I wish everybody a wonderful day.